Is what I figured would be the natural noise at the beginning of this chapter, chapter 56 of One Piece, right? It's just where we left off, right? It was a nail biter of a cliffhanger, of chapter 56 leading to 57 of the One Piece manga. And the reason why we're even talking about One Piece is because obviously a segue into the title in our regular spiel, we are the Grand Line Tourist podcast, chapter by chapter, examining or re-examining, if you have been through this journey once before, of Ichiro Oda's masterpiece, One Piece, the manga, the video game, the movie, the anime, the product line, the swimsuit product line, probably, because there's probably a One Piece out there.
Yeah.
Right?
One Piece nail polish, makeup brand line.
All of it. It's huge. This is a huge property. It's been around. It's been around forever. One Piece, if it was a human, is probably allowed to rent a car without paying extra. I think. Probably.
Whoa.
No, not yet.
Rent a car. Wait, do they get discounts if you live a long time?
I think 25. I think 25 or something. You're allowed to.
Oh,
yeah, right.
I see. This is where they discriminated against young drivers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No good. I don't like that sort of thing.
Good. What are we doing, rental car companies? I am Eric Sivu. I am the tour guide of this here podcast and tour of
Eric.
the One Piece Grand Line tour. So far, we are still here in the East Blue, here at the Bureau. Actually, I don't know what part of the world we are in this current flashback, but we're somewhere.
No, it's true. Yeah, the person who is having the flashback is currently on the East Blue, right? Who knows where they were before, but
But we're still in the flashback, so who knows where the flashback is taking place.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not the Grand Line, if I had to guess. We'll go ahead and introduce yourself across the interwebs.
I have a name. It's me, Jacob. 9 years younger than I am right now because I'm in flashback mode. I don't know. I am your tourist.
See, if you would have kept with the bit, it would have worked, but you dumped out of it so quickly. Now we're we're stuck in this weird awkward section of the bit.
Yeah, I'm going through podcast flashback puberty. You might get a little bit of these throughout the podcast,
Nice.
We'll see what happens. I'm known for going a little high on come on. No, I do that a lot. That's kind of a thing I sometimes do. I don't think I'd actually not a lot on the podcast, but if you ever get me excited in real life, you get a lot of
Oh, all right.
So I'll try to bring it out.
You heard it here first, ladies.
Forget deep voices. That's old. That's old news. No, everyone wants their high pitched, squealy, cracky voice men. Yeah.
Everybody wants to date Chip or Dale. Let's jump into the itinerary. Yeah, is that all good?
That's all good with me.
All right, let's jump
us
into chapter 57. If you have a dream.
Oh.
The Cook pirates pillaged the orbit. Young Sanji doesn't want to die to this raid, and he's making it. He's gonna fight back. He's ready to fight back. The Cook pirates steal. One of the Cook pirates steal a big bag of food, to which Zeph. Not cool. As part of his crew culture, we don't steal food. All right, we steal their money, we steal their dreams, we steal their lives, but we don't steal their food. And then he beats the snot out of this pirate who stole some food that he left in a nice giant big bag. We had young Sanji comes out. He comes out with 2 knives. He's ready to fight Zolo style without the knife in the middle. But he's dual wielding knives.
2/3 Zolo.
Zeph is like, yo man, if this little kid wants to die, then I can help it out. So he kicks Sanji around a little bit, but Sanji refuses to die. He's biting at Zeph's foot. May I add, maybe a prelude, a precursor, a foreshadow of Sanji's beginning. Biting his foot, saying that he doesn't want to die. He needs to go see All Blue. Zeph sees to he lodges that comment. Doesn't matter though. He still kicks Sanji to the side, kicks Sanji around a little more. one of the pirates are telling Zeph, "Yo, Zeph, the storm's coming. We gotta go. Wabba, wabba, wabba.
Out of here.
We gotta get out of here." Well, it's too late. The storm is already there. And a giant tide comes over, pulls Sanji out of the boat, throws him into the ocean, to which Zeph, out of nowhere, jumps to his safety. He goes, he kicks down a mast. I mean, I guess you need a giant floating log. He's like, I'll choose the biggest one on the ship.
Yeah, no, he goes into like full like Spider-Man protecting New York City mode. Like, I gotta save the kid.
Yeah, he does. He kicks over the mast. He jumps in, holding the giant mast with him into the ocean. We assume it works, but the last panel we see of this storm, completely a giant wave's gonna engulf both of the ships, right? The orbit and the Cook Pirates, their ships and everything, and they go into this giant whirlpool. Wake up the next morning, two mornings actually. Sanji waking up and they're on a rock. It's him and Zeph. They're just on a gigantic rock, barren rock, no fruit, no animals. It's also
lots
too
of
high. Yeah, it's also too high for them to fish off of. And Zeph's like, "This is where we're at. You and I have to split this food. Like, there's this big bag of food here. You get this portion. I get a portion." Sanji goes, "How come your bag's bigger than me?" Zeph goes, "I am a man. You are a little boy.
I'm bigger than you.
You are a little boy, and you need to eat only that." And Zeph tells him, "We have enough food that lasts us maybe 5 days, but if we're smart about eating, it can last us a little bit longer." Right? And then Zeph goes, "Our only hope is to find someone to help us. So I'll stay on this side of the rock. You go behind those rocks. You go behind to the other side of the rock, and you watch that side. And you see if anybody's coming." All right? And that's it. That's all we got. There's no complaining. Don't complain, because complaining wastes energy. That's all we got. So Sanji goes, and he's on the other side. Sanji explains that he doesn't want to die again. He doesn't want to die on this rock. And even though he's hungry, we hear his stomach growling. He's like, I got to be smart with my food. I have to try to make it last longer than 5 days, right? The longer you can last, the more likely you can find a ship. But on the other side of the rock, the way this chapter ends is Zeph putting his leg out with the giant rock, and he goes, "I guess this is the end of Red Shoe Zeph." And it ends with him striking down on his foot. On his right.
Yeah.
On his right.
Right below the kneecap, it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man.
I know.
Yeah, it's quite a... This might be one of the, like...
The
most brutal moment endings of a, like, cliffhanger chapter, you know?
It's probably the most brutal flashback, right? Like, backstory?
Yeah, no, because I think what it is... I think a lot of characters go through a lot of different types of pain. Like, we just saw, like, your panel from last chapter, like Sanji's face getting smushed, but
like a symbol.
It's different if like like a symbol. It's different if you're doing it to yourself for some reason. This has got like that vibe of like, decision making and like, we're doing this,
This is probably the most one that's relayed like the dangers of being in the ocean. Like if you're stuck on a rock like that, that's it. That's worse than a deserted island sort of deal, right? Like there's nothing here. There's no coconuts or anything. It's just
this is the worst island. This is it's not great.
It's just a rock.
But before we discuss more about the rock and the kneecap crushing,
you're right.
We gotta. I think our telegram's coming in from somewhere.
It's just it. Roll breaking news. Cover story. A duel to decide the next captain.
After the battle, part 16. These are going.
It's going deep. This is a whole story. Like, who knew that we needed to see first mate and second mate fight it out and duke it out, right?
This was a cool one. This one, I saw the chapter title, and I saw the, this image, and I just smiled with delight. We got Mohi and Kabaji.
Yeah, good job.
I can't remember.
Better memory than I do, yeah.
I took notes. It's just, I wrote a little bit of it down. I didn't remember them exactly. But I did. Of course, you remember the look of the characters. But names are a little harder. They're just going at it. We got the lion tamer himself, right? He's the one that had. The lion had. I wanted to like redeem myself and remember.
I know the lion's name.
Doofy.
No.
Doofy.
No.
No. Wait. No. Does it got like a? Give me the last 2 letters.
Yeah, it does end in IE.
Yeah. See. Oh. Give me the first letter.
R.
Oh, no. Oh, I shouldn't have asked for the first letter. Richie. Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's Richie, yeah. This is my favorite part of the cover story because Richie is so funny.
Oh, he's in there.
He's in there behind the tree. He's a little
Paul
wuss,
raised in allegiance.
Like, no!
But no, this is the fun one. Like it makes sense. You know, you need a new captain. We got 2 good candidates, and they're duking it out.
Obviously, they gotta fight it out like Joker style. You know what I mean? Heath Ledger Joker is like only one of you. I only have room for one of you, sort of deal. So
take these pencils and fight. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That is cool. You are right. 16 parts is a lot, but it's enough. It's kind of fun. You're like, oh, this is the whole side story.
Oh yeah, no. It's just like we said. I think you mentioned to me like, how long do you think these are gonna go? And it's like, well, sky's the limit at this point. If we were on, like really, those numbers are not. They're separated. 16 to 57. That's a difference of 41. Like maybe it just stays a difference of 41 forever. You're like right now. I don't know what the exact One Piece chapter is, but if it was 1041, maybe they're releasing Buggy's Crew After the Battle, Part 1000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for all I know, that could be happening. So I'm excited to see Part 1000 of this journey play out for Buggy and
right?
Crew.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool catching up on it. It's a cool little element. I've never seen anybody else really do it, so this is really cool to see him push it. All right.
One more little bit to chat about. I just wanted to. The question corner had a little cool note about 2 things. One was Oda was mentioning how there's this double spread of Usopp's pirate crew, and that when he was drawing it, the question that was actually asked to him was like, when you draw all these stretched and crazy faces, does your face get stretched and crazy? And Oda, whether or not he's speaking the truth, says yes, his face does get stretched and crazy. So that Usopp and his crew splitting up moment was particularly hard to draw because his face was starting to cramp because of all the deep. I thought that was a good little fun thing to talk about. And then there was another question about Oda, why is One Piece so expensive? It cost me over 100 yen, this kid is complaining about. And Oda does a nice, quick little explanation of inflation for the kid. Saying that, Jump is 220 yen back then, and that, nowadays, actually, I just went and looked up what it is now. It's like more like 250, 260, so inflation's not too bad. I think Oda was saying 170. Yeah. Oh no, I think this is for a
Shonen Jump?
For Shonen Jump.
Okay.
Yeah. He said volumes I think were a little bit more expensive, but probably cheaper if you divide it by the number of chapters you get. Mm-hmm. But no, I just thought that was funny. Yeah.
That's true because it does feel expensive if you're just buying if you're just buying Shonen Jump for One Piece. But I mean, that's how Shonen Jump works, right? Shonen Jump's like you get all.
Yeah, you get more. You get more. And if you're in America and you're buying Shonen Jump, well, then it's really pricey because you're getting it imported from Japan, and it's like $40 or something.
I also don't think they translate into English in the Shonen Jump. So.
No. This would be you're having somebody ship it to you, I think. Yeah. And so it's like they used to do it. I think Shonen Jump used to publish in America.
Oh yeah,
and I think they stopped
though.
a while back.
Enough. It might do better now, but who knows?
Maybe they'll do it. It feels like once if One Piece, like I don't know, towards the end of One Piece, if they wanted to print some in English, I bet people would totally.
They would do really cool. I think whenever One Piece decides to finish, whenever Oda decides to finish, I think they would have really cool reprints of the English translation. Okay. And I think because they did it with Berserk. Berserk has like these giant, nice leather bound volumes, so I think they would do the same here. They probably even do like gigantic boxes. Imagine if you got like the Merry Go for the first like 500 chapters, like a giant ship that holds all the volumes. I love it. I would buy it instantly.
Dang,
I would lose all the money. All the money. Let's jump in. Yeah, let's talk about.
Yeah. No, you know what? I'm gonna cut you off really quick because I feel like you, as a wonderful tour guide, are feeding me little hints, but I want to take those hints, and before you give me too many hints about them, I want to jump in and get some predictions here.
Oh,
so,
yes, tinfoil?
I mean, it may be... I'm dusting off the hat to do some tinfoil, and I got 2. I think one of them you've queued up pretty well, but I think I got a second one that you wouldn't have thought of. And I might be wrong about this first one, too, but we got... I'll just say it. Sanji's going to eat Chef Zeph's leg. That's my theory. I don't know if Sanji ate too much of the food on the island or if there just wasn't enough food to get them to get by. But I think Chef Zeph is, hearing the calls of little Sanji saying, I don't want to die, and trying to get his own leg, the part of his body that he uses the most because he fights that way. He's willing to give it up in order to save this little kid's life. And yeah, that's where I'm going with it. It's going dark. We're getting some cannibalism. And man, is that an interesting story, like, for Sanji, like, a cannibal cook,
Dude, he's tasting the
and
flesh.
So and you mentioned it as well. I had this too. I just want everyone to know that the little bite from little Sanji on Chef Zeph's shoe is a nice little foreshadow of that moment to come, if that is the case.
So
So I know you kind of gave it in there too, but I want to say I thought of it as I read that little. I was like, oh, look at that little gnawing of the old foot from little Sanji there. The foot that gets gone later somehow. Maybe it's going to be eaten. So I'm logging in my tinfoil there. I have a second tinfoil though, one that I think maybe you have not predicted. There is a rock that they're stuck on, right? Is it perhaps the same rock that Johnny and Yosako wound up on, where they were rescued from later? It kind of reminded me in shape. I feel like that one had some high cliffs, implying that we're actually not too far from where all these events happened a long time ago, which I don't think would matter too much, but just a fun little like potential Easter egg. I'll have to look back at some of these shots between Johnny and Yosako's rock and the rock where Chef Zeph... Oh, you know what? I think there might have been multiple rocks next to that rock. So as soon as I'm putting this tinfoil hat and saying it, I feel like it could be wrong. But I'm sticking with it.
If it is the same one, it doesn't exist anymore, so no one ever has to worry about me stranded there because Luffy and Usopp blew it out of the ocean.
Yeah, it's gone. No, it's So no, I just wanted to get those in there before we jumped into it, and I'll stepping away from the mic.
Oh, you put the tinfoil away until you're ready to do another prediction. I just have kind of like small topics for this one, but I guess let's do the small topics first. Crew culture, interesting, right? Crew culture for the cook pirates is the same thing. It's don't steal the food. Like there's a big pushing the theme again about like being really hungry, and like how that's a given right? So that's an interesting thing that they pop back up.
Yeah, it's weird to respect certain parts of people's humanity and not others, right? Like, you don't need the gold. It might be your livelihood, but yeah, whatever, you'll survive. But like you won't survive without food, So it's an interesting line to draw.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing too was Zeph like goes after him when Sanji gets pulled out. Like, isn't that a weird little character move? Like, what made you?
Well, no, it's interesting because Zeph is so like pure pirate in this chapter. Take the valuables, right? The only thing he does that's a little non-piratey is that don't take the food, right?
Right.
But they're a chef ship pirate crew, whatever. It's part of their crew culture, right?
Right.
Everything else so far they've been very piratey. I was a little intrigued by Sanji being so worried about being murdered, just because outright murdering in the One Piece world really hasn't been a thing yet, It definitely feels like everybody just either, like, knocks people out and or leaves them to die, but never really, like, kills them. So Sanji being worried about that, and then the inverse of that, having Chef Zeph leap to save Sanji kind of feels interesting. Yeah, like, the only thing I can think of is he really respected... The only thing that Sanji has done at this point is carried 2 chef's knives, right? Kind of cool. Little kid with 2 chef's knives, sure. Young little chef. Maybe Zeph sees something there. And the mention of the dream of finding the All Blue. That's all we got, right? Mm-hmm. So, we did have the reaction moment from Zeph on that, but... Still not much, right? Other cooks make fun of the All Blue and say, just a dream, whatever. But maybe there was something there for Zeph and Sanji, some connection to be made.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it does have something to do with that. So that's a really good. It has to be because he just jumps. He just goes in. You said the Spider-Man thing, right?
It's either Zeph would do this for anybody, or there's something about Sanji. And if it's something about Sanji, we don't got much at this point between those two characters because they literally just met, right? Although we've known them because we're in the flashback of their first meeting, so
right? Because we exist in the future.
We do.
Yeah. Okay. So. We talked about it, Grimm's backstory so far. It seems kind of grim. Like, this one's pretty... Yeah. This one's life-threatening.
No, I'm just curious. I did put it as a tinfoil hat prediction. Do you think it's, like, obvious at the end of this chapter that that's going down?
About what? About the
eating of the leg? Like, at this point, is that not even a prediction? Is that, like, it's happening, you think? Or is that I
feel like that is still a prediction because it can still go anywhere. Okay. Who knows why he could be affected? Right?
Yeah, it's true. No, that's true. And that could have just been like, I could. Okay. We'll hold it out there. I'm
not gonna rule out the cannibalism, but it could be any number of reasons why he's right. He's cutting it off.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I have to write down a note real quick if you have any points that you want to bring up for this chapter.
Oh yeah. One thing I'll just bring up and I'll discuss a little bit out loud is that the moment where Chef goes to save Sanji, it's such a Sanji looking kick at that mast.
Yes.
Like you're just like, wow, like Zeph has the Sanji kick, which means that Sanji took the Zeph kick, is kind of the way to think about it. And so I thought that really related really well with Sanji feeling like he did take everything from Chef Zeph. You know, I don't know if like training is going to actually make that happen, but maybe just, you know, on a visual level, we see Zeph doing a kick and we know Sanji does tons of kicks, and now Chef cannot kick anymore, you know. So
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Let's keep going. Because I don't want to...
Cool it, tour guide.
My tour guide hat on, and I was like, I don't want to say too much. Let's talk about... And this is just more about you and I. How hungry have you ever gotten in your life? Like, because there's so much about that now. Like, this is literally them trapped on a rock, and I know they're about to have some... what was it? 42 hours later sort of deal. What was that?
Yeah. Wait, I think 127 hours.
I was close.
Yeah, no, I could be wrong, so don't worry.
No, I think you're more right than I am.
Okay. No, that was actually one of the last good movies. I haven't seen James Franco in much, but I liked him in that. So yeah. But he doesn't eat his arm. He just needs to get untrapped. Oh wait, were you thinking of some other movie? Were you thinking of the James Franco movie?
No, I am thinking of the James Franco movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, just because we're talking about it in the context of food. For a moment, I had an alternate universe where the point of that movie was him to eat his own arm, but it's actually just to get unstuck.
Right.
But regardless, the moment in my life that I can think of is not too bad. It was just like there was a plane flight back from visiting some grandparents or something in Chicago, and that plane flight got delayed a bunch, and the plane flight was really long, and it was turbulent, so I don't think they had time to give snacks, and then we landed, then we had to, drive home, and when I got home, I was very hungry. And it was very late. And I just remembered thinking, I don't think I'll be able to fall asleep if I don't eat something. Like, that's how hungry my stomach was. And I didn't care. I went to I didn't eat anything gross. I grabbed the bread, and I think it was I took the end piece because it was just the closest piece of bread, and stuffed it in my mouth, chewed it, and then went up to bed. Because I just knew my stomach needed something to shut up. And I was like, I don't care what it is. I probably could have found peanut butter. It would have been tastier. I didn't care. I just ate it and then went to bed.
It's nuts how hunger essentially makes you turn into an animal, right? Like, there's very little... Yeah. Like, a lot of your logical thinking is out the window. Like, it takes a lot of discipline to be okay with being hungry. But I think, the hunger that they're describing in all of this is why they don't steal food, is that you become primal. Like, you'll kill another man... for food. That movie Snowpiercer is kind of about that too, right? Snowpiercer's nuts because it's about hunger and the power of how withholding food from a population of people can really, it's power, right? It's another way of conserving your power and making sure that you have the power over people, how you feed them. Animals and pets are the same way too, right? We literally dictate when we feed animals. I have a beta fish.
Otherwise I'll kill you by not feeding you.
Right. Well, in low key, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you withhold food from any animal, they get very angry, don't they? Like, they get very intense, and they'll chew and attack you. You get food-aggressive dogs. I think about my beta fish, and I'm like, if I disappear tomorrow, this fish is going to die because he can't eat anything.
Whoa. Eric, we're friends. If you disappear... we won't be recording a podcast next week. First thing I think of, rather than going to find you and figure out if you're okay, I'll be like, I gotta feed Eric's beta fish.
I gotta feed his beta fish.
Before it dies.
But yeah, so it just made me think a lot about hunger, and if I was in the situation that they currently at, I would freak out. And you have to have, you and I both live in a world where we don't have to worry about eating, essentially, right? If we're hungry, you and I have the means to find food. We have the means to do that stuff. But in a situation, for me... the one time that I could think of that we were really hungry was that me and my girlfriend were underprepared for a hike, and the hike ended up taking a long time. And it when you're underprepared for a hike, you are very hungry. But also hiking kind of they hide the fact that you are hungry because you're doing so much active moving. But eventually your body just stops, right? Your body just can't keep up anymore.
Oh no!
And so when you really think about just what this whole arc is about, which is eating and food, that is kind of a really bad thing to have happen to you, or the worst kind of torture, which is just starvation. Did
you have enough water on that hike?
We did have water. The water was running low.
No, it is really funny. I recently went on a hike with my brother and his wife, and I had just about enough water, to be perfect for that hike, but still a little under. Like, it would have been better to have more, and they were both under. And funnily enough, it was a weird thing because people go a little weird because, like, they didn't exactly tell me they didn't have enough, and I was kind of still taking sips of my water towards the end, and I realized it, and then, like, I gave them both, like, half of the rest of my water, you know, because I'm like, you guys need something. But it's weird when stuff like that happens.
It's scary, well, because, like, that's the closest that you and I will ever be at being trapped at sea, right? It is a hike. Yeah. Like, that's a simulation of nature going against you because we're not prepared.
I might become a sailor. I might go take a trip. I might go on a cruise ship and it might go bad. I feel like there is lots of potential for us to be trapped at sea, Eric, and you shouldn't discount that from our potential future life experiences.
Or, God willing, trapped in space. Elon,
oh, snaps! That's like the coolest sea ever. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just I was just thinking about it in this situation of like, man, that is really grim. It's grim. You only have enough food technically to last you 5 days, but if you don't eat that much, if you intermittent fast, you might be able to make it longer.
That's rough.
But it's scary, and it's an interesting thought, and it's probably why the backstory of why they're so about food and why it's a crew culture, and that's something that that Sanji always feeds a starving man.
Indeed. Yeah, no, that explains it all right there.
Yeah.
And that means, just, you know, when Zeph was looking at Sanji do that, like, this is going through both their heads, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This backstory is, like, we know what Zeph now potentially was thinking about when he looked at Sanji feeding the starving crew member, you know,
feeding starving what? Jin, right?
Yeah, starving Jin, who's now pointing the gun at Zeph. Well,
right, it all comes around.
Lots of circular whoosh, 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 whoosh.
All comes around, and like currently, Jen is holding the peg leg of the leg that is probably a direct result of something. Like, right, it's all coming back around. It's very good storytelling. It's all like
well, I almost want to say it's very good storytelling, but I also think it's just if you enrich in your characters enough, and you also naturally put symbols throughout your story, right? Like, you know, hunger, starving, legs, food, right? You know, peg leg, attacks, you know, all this stuff that kind of works together. I almost think Oda could have written this 5 times and had 5 different stories, but had the resonance throughout because of this, just the way manga works with all the imagery, right? They were always going to intermix and connect in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Or he planned it out individually. It would be kind of interesting to hear his side of that. You know, if he's like, no, I knew the moment when that Jin would be, you know, pointing a gun at the person whose leg was gone to save Sanji, or if he was like, no, that kind of happened. You know.
Yeah. I love how, like, right now, the standoff in present time on the Baratier is like, you could just save Zeph by leaving, but Sanji's like, I would be killing him if we left, right? Yeah. Like, morally, and like, what else can I take from this man? Is essentially what he's like. I can't do that anymore.
No,
right?
Whew.
Yeah, it's
deep
good
stuff.
It's great. And then Jin's like, I gotta do this because my captain wants this, right? This is my guy. I can't leave this ship without giving this ship to my captain. It's great.
Yeah, not as respectable, Jin. We don't identify.
Not as respectable. I agree.
But we gotcha. We feel you.
Shall we talk about some ha-has, or do you have anything else to talk about?
Like last time, I just got I like picking out one big haha. I like the fearsome chicken head with a fork and knife and a chef's hat as the. Oh, there we go.
That's the joke.
It's good.
That's the best. What a weird. I have a thing where I think Zeph low key likes really cute stuff.
You think it's just a little bit in the Baratier design and stuff?
Yeah, because the fish is like kind of cute and weird. Like, I think he low key is like always wanted to be a cartoonist or something. You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't cooking, he was gonna live his life on a quiet island making really cute cartoons for children.
There we go. And you know what? That's actually probably what Oda really wants in his life.
Yes.
To be what you just described, because he just wants it, especially just animals. He just wants to draw animals. There was, I think it might have been last chapter actually, but when they draw a bunch of fish for the mention of the all blue.
Yeah.
It just made me think this Oda just wants an excuse to draw a bunch of animals in this panel.
Oh yeah, 100%. If we have agreed on the ha-has, but now we have to go to a segment where we don't agree at all, unless we choose to say.
We don't know. We don't agree. It's one of those things where if later on we'll be able to do a flashback and see that we agreed or disagreed. But right now, in the unknown times, we just got to duke it out. We got to duke it out in the panel battle. This is the section of the podcast where Eric and I, pick our favorite, maybe most triggering, the most exciting panel of the chapter, and we put them out head to head. Fish to fish, fillet to fillet, steak to steak, and we engorge ourselves on them in order to feed our souls. And we figure out who leaves home hungry today,
Yeah. No, I get that. Remember, this isn't just a 2v2 or a 1v1 battle. This could be a 7v8. It could be a battle from the past. It could be a battle from the future. So you can participate also by emailing in at grandlinetourist@gmail.com. Again, that email is nameofpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And just email in and get your fight in. Put your panel into the fight. Get in the game.
I think
I don't know who said that. EA? Was that EA? EA used to say that.
Oh yeah, those were weird.
Yeah.
They really, modern logos have really they've consistently gone more abstract. No one wants to say anything anymore. They're all weak. They need to bring those back. Get in the game. Get
in the game.
Yeah. Well, that said, Eric, boom, first strike heading towards you. You sent it out last time, so I'm going in.
I love it.
Open that sucker panel up.
Oh, this is a great one. Okay, so this is we see a
one.
young Sanji getting knocked over by the waves, and it's getting knocked off of the orbit, which is such a weird name for a passenger ship. But yeah, so Sanji's getting knocked off. It's a pretty cool establishing shot of how small Sanji is compared to the orbit, and him falling into the vastness that is the ocean. We see it underneath. It's like a bottom up panel, right? Or a bottom up shot. The point of view is from the bottom of if we were the ocean looking up at Sanji getting knocked off. So yeah, cool panel.
No, this is a fun one. I think it's just Sanji's positioning. His arms are out as if he's almost like a flapping bird. He looks a little silly. I think he still has his chef's little what do you call those, apron? I think his chef's apron is still on, arms outstretched. I like panels that give you characters from a distance, because so much of Oda's work is faces, close up, stretched, emotion, dialogue. These panels really, they stand out in relation to all those, So I really did enjoy this one. A little bit of puberty coming out there. Sorry. Yeah. That said, what panel do you have in response to Sanji being launched out into the ocean? It is, it's getting dark. The sun is going down. I don't want to die. And we see, you know what? Now that I see this panel in isolation, we have the cliff of the island where Zeph and Sanji are on. And I believe it doesn't look big enough, but it's Zeph, right?
No, this is Sanji.
This is Sanji. This is Sanji saying, I don't want to die. Okay. No, it's interesting because, yeah, that makes more sense. I should have known that just by when I said that it doesn't look like it's big enough to be Zeph, so therefore it's got to be Sanji. I think it's because of those words, I don't want to die, I knew were coming from Sanji. I expected to see a head in the air screaming it out, but it's more like a sad Sanji, and his head, based on the shadow that we see here, because all the shadows in this panel are really dark and outstretched because the sun's low in the sky. We can kind of make out a little bit of the bag of food. So this is Sanji crying in between his legs, saying, "I don't want to die." I guess
it's. I love how moody it is. I think it just establishes the desperation of this situation.
Oh yeah,
it's everything, right? You see how vast the ocean is over there, but also the nothingness, and I think the shadows. It feels like the shadows are creeping up on him. This is how close we are to. Right,
this is the hunger. The hunger's taking over the world here, and and it also oddly looks beautiful, which is just such a weird way to die. Because even later on, I think. Or a few panels before, they're looking at the sun going down before with a little less shadow, and it looks really beautiful. But this is not a beautiful moment this is desperation rock for Sanji and Zeph here.
Yeah.
And this is what potentially prompts Zeph in my tinfoil hat moment to go about doing what he's doing. Maybe he just can't stand watching someone starve, which would fit with his crew culture, with what he mentioned before of we don't steal food from others.
I love that it's just you get that beautiful shot of the panel I have, and then the next shot is him on the opposite end. Even the rocks facing in different directions, so you can kind of, if you put them together, it would have been the opposite end.
Yeah, and you can almost construct the full picture. Yeah,
and they're both silhouettes. It's really cool. Yeah, just really cool stuff happening here.
Dang, I like it. I like your choice. I didn't appreciate the shadow and potentially the metaphor for this is the dark moment of what's happening on the island to them.
And the greatest thing, well chosen. You have to wait till next week to find out what happens.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, to find out what's going down. But this is pretty dark for a children's manga, just in general.
Yeah, no, I feel the Pokemon version of this would be just a little Pokemon starving, and like that's like an and then but it's probably gonna get fed, and it just probably looks sad, but it's cute, But these are like humans. This is like body dismemberment. This is we got a whole nother level here with this manga here.
Yeah. All right, my man. I feel like this is the end. This is the end of this chapter. The end of Zeph's leg. What onomatopoeia should we end with?
Oh my goodness. Oh well, we talked a lot about we ate at the end of the last chapter, but now there's nothing to eat, Eric. We're on a rock. And
we should just do the gurgling of our stomachs, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, that's all there is. And actually, to be honest, I mean, we'll do some noises ourselves, but for a moment, I'm gonna just really quickly hold my my mic really close to my stomach. It probably resulted in nothing. There's probably going to be silence on that recording there. I don't think it's high enough level to actually
waiting to see if I can hear it like a fool.
Oh no! Oh yeah, because you're not hooked up to the same mic feed. A little bit of a podcasting snafu there, but yeah, no. We'll actually we'll go out on the more. We're hungry, so we're gonna hear those grumblings in a more legitimate way.
Here we go.